Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 2 of series number 1. I am the Utah Ranger. I want to give everybody a quick shout out who gave a view, a like, a subscribe, anything on any of the social media platforms YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It really means a lot to me, guys. The support really does. Today, we are going to be following along the same lines of what we did in episode 1. We are continuing the exclusive figure lines. This one is a GameStop exclusive, came out not too long ago. I know it does take forever for GameStop's pre-orders to get in, but we did get this one, and this one's going to be a really fun one. Today's review is going to be the GameStop exclusive Armored Red Ranger from the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger series. I really like this figure a lot. I think it's really cool. Obviously, in the series, when Tommy gave the power over to the Red Ranger, he ended up with the shield, the dagger, extra powers for the situation that they needed at the time. So this figure I really like a lot. Obviously, being part of the Legacy line, he does have quite a few points of articulation. They did do a different head mold than they did on the original Red Ranger, which is fine because it still looks pretty good. I know a lot of people were shaving the portion of the head down at the top because it had that ridge on it, but I don't think it's really that much of a deal. I'm definitely not going to go sanding my figure down by any means. This one they actually redid the gold paint, which is good, because obviously the complaints from the Zeal line was the fact that they originally at the toy fair showed them with the real gold paint, and then when they released them, they looked like they were craft processed cheese color instead. But they did gold paint. Looks great. I mean, obviously you can see, there's some brush lines and things like that, but for a $20 figure, he's really not too bad. He came out of the package without very much extra bending, things like that from the molding, which is fine because you can always do the warm water method. Definitely wouldn't recommend doing boiling water. Boiling water is not the best on figures for both the paint and for the plastic's sake. But I think he looks good. In all honesty, the dragon shield looks pretty smooth. Obviously you can see some crease lines and things like that, but that's really not unorthodox for a $20 figure. This is the first time he's ever been out of the package. Opened it specifically for today's review, but he will be on display very, very soon. And he comes with a few accessories. Obviously he comes with the Dragon Dagger sheath, just like Lord Drakon does. He comes with his Power Blaster sheath as well. It looks good. It actually looks like the same material that they used in the live action. It's kind of got a leathery kind of a texture almost. And he comes with the long-awaited Power Sword. I know everybody wanted their weapons with the original release of the Mighty Morphin Legacy Rangers, but they didn't actually release those until they did the Metallic series. But it's got quite a bit of detail on it. It's got the Tyrannosaurus symbol in the center. It's not super articulate by any means. Oh, sorry about that, bumped my microphone. But I mean, all in all, it does look pretty good. I mean, you can see the detail on the blade. Sorry for the autofocus there. It's going a little bit crazy on me. But he's also got the Dragon Dagger, and obviously it's bent a little bit from being in the plastic molding, which is fine. You can always use the warm water method on these as well to remold them. And this figure does have his Power Blaster in sheath / sword mode, just there's no blade that comes out. That would have been a pretty cool little addition if they would have added like a small blade that you could clip in. The paint's pretty basic on here. It's nothing spectacular to write home about by any means, but it does look pretty good, I think. Now back to the actual main figure himself. I know everybody was kind of iffy on, all the super muscular molds and stuff like that. That's not how they looked in the series, but they're not necessarily meant to be series accurate. They are supposed to be kind of like what you would imagine the Rangers would look like in kind of a more fantasy kind of mode. They're big, buff, strong fast martial artists. But I think what we should do now that we've got him ready to rock and roll, is I think we ought to fit him with all of his stuff. So I think what we should do is put this on first. Obviously they've got the holes set up for the two sheaths. I know a lot of people were saying they couldn't get the sheaths to fit purposefully. They had to kind of do some extra drilling for it to widen the holes out a little bit. I've not found that issue with any of my figures as of yet, knock on wood. But he's got his sheaths. Let's go ahead and fit him with his items here. We're going to give him his power blaster, which fits in there really well. I wish they would have made it to where you could actually, turn it into the gun mode, but I can see, with the articulation points and things like that they would have had to do, that would be a pretty advanced little weapon that they would have had to give. And I do remember as well, Jason is right-handed, just like Lord Drakon is, or Tommy. So we're gonna squeeze this into here. His plastic hands are pretty fresh. Like I said, this is the very first time that he's ever been out of the package. And the Dragon Dagger, he can hold any number of ways. I think we're gonna do an underhand kind of hold on this. If he will grab a hold of it, that is. So he might have a little bit of a hard time grasping it. So we may have to do an overhand then, because he wants to be difficult. So there you are, folks. Mighty Morphin, armored Red Ranger in all of his glory. He does look really good. The paint looks good. There's not a lot about it that I can complain about. I know a lot of people will nitpick and they'll, I only like certain aspects of it. But for a $20 figure, I feel like Bandai did a pretty good job. I, again, am very excited to see what Hasbro does with their lines, because Hasbro Lightning Collection, super stoked about that. I feel like it's going to be what the fans wanted, aside from, what Bandai has already given with the Power Rangers. I'll cover more of the Lightning series in some news. I'll probably end up doing a live stream where we'll talk about the news. But for the time being, let's mess around with some lighting for him. How about some green lighting? Gives him kind of a cool look. He almost looks like the armored Black Ranger, which I think was one that Bandai should have done as well, because Zach did get the dragon armor as well in the series. I think that looks pretty cool. We'll go full red lighting again. Some blue lighting. You can actually kind of see some of the red on his helmet with the blue lighting. That actually looks kind of cool too. Some purple lighting. Maybe some yellow. Yellow actually kind of brings out the sheen of that gold quite a bit. But I like him, guys. I think they did a really good job on him. I think he was worth the wait. Again, as a collector, I'm sure everybody's more than familiar with the infamous GameStop pre-order waiting time, which again is pretty normal, but it's fine for the collectors who have some patience and they don't want to pay scalper pricing on things. For people who order multiples and things like that, there's really nothing wrong with waiting a little bit extra time for something that's decent quality. Again, this is the Armored Mighty Morphin Red Ranger from the Bandai America Legacy line. I like him a lot. I think they did a good job on him. I hope that you guys liked him a lot too. And again, if you have any questions, comments, recommendations, anything like that, please consider leaving a like and a comment. Please also consider subscribing if you do like the content. I am going to be branching off into some different series as well. We'll go ahead and follow a series line for the most part. I might branch out and start maybe series 2, which will be something along the lines of maybe a Transformers line or Dragon Stars line of figures, which is the Dragon Ball Super line that they're doing. And if you guys have any questions or anything like that, please, again, feel free to ask, because I'm always listening, I'm always watching the comments. Thank you again for supporting. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And for episode 2, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this was the Mighty Morphin Armored Red Ranger. Thank you so much for your time, guys. I appreciate it, and we'll see you in episode 3.